Hello world, Shelly here, and it is day 4 of Foundation Fest, where I do 5 days in a row of foundation reviews. We're just going to keep on alternating, and we're going back to the drugstore today. I have not a new release, this is a repackaging and I believe a reformulation of an oldie but goodie. This is the L'Oreal Visible Lift Serum Absolute Foundation, and this is what appears to be the new packaging. I've had a hard time finding the new packaging online. Ulta still has a few shades left of the old packaging. I think the easiest way to tell is the old one is listed as an SPF 16 foundation, whereas this one's listed as SPF 17. So that's my guess at this point. This retails for $14.95 for 1 fluid ounce of product, which is pretty standard. You do get a glass bottle and a pump. And let's take a look at their website to see some claims. I wasn't able to find this anywhere in its new formulation at drugstores that had reviews, but the old formulation had about a 4.0 out of 5-star rating on Ulta's website with almost 800 reviews. So that is pretty good. Comes in 12 different shades. They say you get anti-aging ingredients, results in 4 weeks. The anti-aging ingredients that are in the serum that is in this foundation are pro-retinol and vitamin C. Very, very good anti-aging ingredients. Retinol is good for fine lines and wrinkles and texture. Vitamin C is good for evening skin tone and decreasing sunspots and hyperpigmentation. So really happy to see skincare ingredients in here. Note that you're not going to replace your daily skincare with a foundation. You're never going to apply enough product evenly enough to get those skincare benefits if this was your only skincare. However, I am never opposed to having extra skincare in my makeup just to give it that extra boost. So very happy to see that. Introducing a breakthrough in age-minimizing makeup. The Visible Lift Serum Absolute Foundation features an age-reversing serum of 5 ingredients in 1 radiant makeup. It instantly evens skin tone with a luxuriously lightweight formula that doesn't settle into lines and wrinkles. In 4 weeks, the potent formula addresses 5 key signs of aging to visibly transform your skin to smoother, firmer, brighter, even, and flawless. That's some big claims. Then they give some statistics on how many percentage of people saw results. It's described as medium coverage, designed for all skin types with a radiant finish and 12 shades. I got this in the shade 143 Soft Ivory, so that is what I'm going to be trying out. Now, it might be a little too light for me. If you guys follow me on Snapchat, you've seen my recent obsession with trying self-tanner. I've never self-tanned in my life, but I did it one time, and I think you can probably see it gave me a little bit of color. It gave me like the color of being out in the sun for a day or two, not a week or two, which is good because I'm such a pale Casper the Friendly Ghost that if I came in all bronze, I would look ridiculous. So I'm pleased, but I purchased this before I did this, so I don't know. We'll see. It might be too light for me. We'll find out. That's why I wore this top, so I could kind of see it. You know, they say you should be comparing. Your skin should match, your face should match your body, so we will try it out. So in that line of thinking, let's check out the color match and see what this shade looks like swatched against some of the other foundations in my collection. Alrighty, let's swatch. First up is today's foundation, the L'Oreal Visible Lift Serum Absolute Foundation in shade 143 Soft Ivory. Second is the Milani Conceal and Perfect in shade 00A. Third up is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow in shade 201 Classic Ivory. Fourth up is the CoverGirl Outlast Stay Fabulous in shade 800. And last I've got the Rimmel Lasting Finish Foundation in the original formula in shade 091 Light Ivory. I've already cleansed, moisturized, and sunscreened my face. I have primed with the Strivectin Anti-Wrinkle Line Blur Fector Primer. This stuff is like magic in a tube, and I am starting out with a 43-year-old face. I've got some sun damage that I like to cover up. I've got fine lines around my mouth, my smile lines, my forehead. I've got some deeper lines under my chin, and I've got some large pores that usually cause me some trouble right around my cheeks, my chin, and in between my eyebrows. So that is the sort of map of trouble spots that I've got going on. I have generally dry skin. Sometimes my skin is dehydrated, but my skin is doing really, really well right now. I do not feel dehydrated at all. I feel like I've got pretty good elasticity going on right now, and I don't feel super dry. my current skincare routine. If you've missed it, I've been trying out some With Simplicity products. I will link that down below. And it's really helping the moisturization, even though this is like the dead of winter here in Virginia. But it is a little bit warmer than average the past couple of weeks, which no complaints from me. So let's get into this. I'm going to go in on one side of my face with a sponge. This is the Eco Tools. I swear it's clean. I just washed it. The Total Perfecting Blender Sponge. The other side I will use a brush. This is my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. And we'll see if I have a preference one way or the other, or if one side applies better than the other. We've got a glass bottle and ta-da! A pump. Hygienic, nice, doesn't get crap inside the bottle. You won't have germs growing in here. Lovely. You can measure out exactly how much product you're using. So like once you get familiar with a product, you'll know that like this one I need 1.5 pumps, and this other one I need 2 pumps, and this other one I just need a whole pump. And I like it. I'm a big fan of pumps. Let's check the consistency on this bad boy. Pumps are pretty small, so I'm gonna do like, that was like 2.5. Focus. Pretty thick here. Let's get some cat ears. All right, now I'm ready. This is blending out very nicely. I would say we're at light coverage right off the bat with the sponge. I think this is a good winter shade match for me, but it's a little bit too light considering that I just self-tanned, but it looks very nice on the skin going on. I'm having no trouble blending it out, and everything looks pretty smooth to start out with. Let's try the brush side. This blends out beautifully with the brush as well, so I would say whichever way is your preference, go with that sponge or brush. I'd say the coverage is about even, maybe slightly better with the brush, but they look equally nice. I didn't use quite all of that product, so let's just see if we can even things out, get a little more coverage in a couple spots, and I'm just gonna go in with like a smidge more to kind of even out the coverage where I still see a little bit of redness poking through. I would say this is not super buildable. I feel like that made the areas where I added more product look really heavy all of a sudden. They did not look like this before I added more product. Let me see if I can pound some of this out and get rid of any excess with the sponge. Oh, that looked so nice on one coat, but now it looks really heavy in those spots. That's helping. That's helping. Let me turn my light down just a little bit because the clouds keep moving around and it's messing with the brightness. Okay, here we are. I think this looked a little bit more pretty of a finish before I tried to build it up, so I would say not super buildable, although the sponge did help eliminate any excess product. It just didn't want to layer nicely was the problem. So I would say make sure you go in with the right amount of product for the coverage you want right off the bat, because it doesn't like to layer up. That makes me a little nervous for how concealer is going to blend on top of it, but we will see. In terms of how we're looking right out of the gate. Okay, those of you that have had trouble with your sponges ripping, I haven't had one rip yet, but I just picked a little piece of sponge off my face and I see a little divot. Can you see it there in my sponge that ripped just a little bit? So I've got my first tear in an Eco Tools Total Perfecting Blender Sponge. A little bit of a tear going on up here too. I don't know if this is, since this one's got like permanent dirt in it, I think this must be one of my oldest ones. So I've washed it maybe 15, 20 times. Yeah, they might not hold up very well. Okay, so let's look at this foundation. I think on my cheeks it's doing a really nice job of blurring texture, but around my mouth, in terms of my wrinkles, it's not settling into them, but like my Meredith Grey wrinkle is like out to play. It is screaming obvious. My smile lines don't look as blurred as they usually do, especially with this primer underneath. And my pores right around my mouth look obvious. It's not accentuating them or settling into them, but they do look like I have a bunch of little holes on my face. It's not caking up too bad around my nose. I do have dry patches around my nostrils that like to collect foundation. It's not collecting there. In between my eyebrows actually looks pretty good. Nothing is sitting cakey at this moment. My forehead looks okay. Nothing appears to be settling into my forehead lines just yet. So right out of the gate, this looks okay. I do see a new gray hair on the side of my face. Urgh. Oh no, it was just makeup. Yes! Winning! The texture of this foundation I think is slightly dry. They mention hydrating, but I feel like it looks a little tiny bit dry on sort of the overall complexion. I would not call this radiant. They describe it as radiant. I don't feel like my skin looks dewy in any way at all. Not even quite satin. It's not matte, but it's not exuding glow. It's just kind of flat. We're gonna fix that with some bronzer and highlight and all that good stuff. So that is where we are starting out. The time is currently 12:54. There's the time. We will call it 1 p.m. for ease of remembering, and I'm gonna go put the rest of my face on and I'll be right back. Alrighty, I did not end up setting this foundation with a powder because it set itself down beautifully. It really is lightweight, feels like almost nothing at all. I did have to tap out a tiny bit of product gathering in my smile lines and my forehead lines. Tapped them out one time and they did not settle back in, so that is good. I feel like in a few places it is doing that sort of sitting on top of the skin thing, but I don't think you can tell that from a conversational distance. If I just look in my regular mirror at this distance, I can't tell. If I look in my magnified mirror, I can see it. So I think that's not a problem yet at this point. Things are going okay. I think everything blended out fine on top of it. I didn't have any trouble with patchiness. I did not have trouble blending concealer into it. I thought I might with the layering issue, but I had no trouble. I used the Maybelline Age Rewind because I know that that one blends out really nicely on me. No problems at all there, so that's where we're starting out. On the rest of my face, I've got my L'Oreal Glam Bronze Bronzer. The blush is, what did I use today? Oh, I used Wet n Wild in Pearlescent Pink. My highlight is Wet n Wild Blossom Glow. For my eyes, I went old school. I went with the old modern renaissance. This is like my favorite eye look to do with this eye palette, and did that. My lip is, I was looking for one of the shades of the new L'Oreal Shine lipsticks because I really like them, and I just picked up another shade, but it's more of a brown tone, and I was looking for my pink toned one and I can't find it. I hate it when that happens. So I went back to the old Milani Amore Shine. This is in the shade Delight. That's where we're starting out. I will be back in a few hours with a daylight check-in, and then I'll come back at the end of the night and let you guys see how everything wore. Hey guys, we are at the 4-hour mark with the Visible Lift foundation, and it's looking pretty good so far. It's a little teeny bit too light for me at this point, but I think the only downside, let me get you guys in a little bit, is that it just looks a little bit dry. The only like radiance I see is the highlighter that I'm wearing. You know, it claimed to have a radiant finish, and I think it's just more of a, you know, like a satin finish. Closer to matte, I think, than radiant, but looks okay so far. It is holding up pretty well, and that's where we're at right now. I will check back with you guys for my final thoughts this evening. Alrighty, it is 11:26 p.m., so that puts us just past the 10-hour mark, almost 10.5 hours at this point. And let's see where we're at. I told Ziva that you guys wanted to see her, so she promptly decided to give herself a bath in the background. Daffy is actually just off camera right here, but you're not going to be able to see her because she can't jump this high. She only has 3 legs. So, we're doing all right, you guys. This one, it looks okay. It's 10 hours. It's a drugstore foundation. I have one complaint at this point, and that is it feels drying. I'm getting the super duper drag lines on my cheeks, and it's a little itchy in that dry, itchy skin sort of way, so I really do want to wash it off my face at this point in the day. It's not my favorite finish on the planet. It did, to me, look a little bit dry all day. It just had kind of a flat, dry finish. Other than that, there was no additional settling into lines. There was no additional movement of product. It wore really, really nicely. It's very comfortable in terms of the weight. It feels like almost nothing at all. It's very, very lightweight. It's got great skincare ingredients in it. The shade selection is kind of meh. But, you know, that's my overall thoughts. Let's take a look at this close up. If we look at my chin, it did settle a little bit into my chin lines, but it didn't settle anywhere else really after I initially tapped it out earlier today. It did wear off quite a bit on my chin, and as we look at my nose, it did wear off a little bit around my nostrils as well. But really, it's not looking super cakey. I've got dry skin around my nostrils, and foundation tends to cake up and look really bad around there, and it's really not looking bad. I think my blush, bronzer, and highlight are all still intact, maybe slightly faded from when I initially applied them. I don't see any trouble going on in terms of texture. There's no additional accentuation of pores. I think everything looks fine as it did when I first applied it. Even between my eyebrows still looks fine. Forehead still looks fine. I think it wore really nicely, and I think there's enough of it intact at the 10-hour mark that I wouldn't feel embarrassed to be out in public with this face if I still had to be out there in the world. So that is kind of where we're at. I think it wore really well. I wish the shade range was better. If you've got dry skin, I know that they claim that this is a bit of a hydrating foundation, but I didn't find it to be very hydrating. I think it is actually slightly drying, so dry skin might want to take warning on that. Maturing skin, I don't think I had any trouble with it settling into lines beyond the initial prep. So once you've put your face on, tap it out once or twice, and it stayed put from that point forward on me. I think it looks nice. It looks nice over time. I like the skincare ingredients. Wish there were some more shades. I don't think we had any trouble with oxidation today. So if I had to give a grade to the L'Oreal Visible Lift Serum Absolute, I'm going to go solid B. This really works pretty well. I think, especially in the summertime when I don't have as much dryness going on, this could be a very, very nice foundation. It's got a little bit of sunscreen in it. I love the skincare. We're going solid B. Way to rock it there, L'Oreal Visible Lift. I'm a happy camper on that one. We got one more day left of Foundation Fest. If you guys like foundation reviews, give me a thumbs up down below. That means I'll keep on making them, although honestly, I'm obsessed with foundation. I'm going to keep on making them anyway. But if you guys like them, I'll make even more of them. If you have any suggestions for foundations you would like to see, leave them down in the comments below. You can always go on my channel page, search whatever foundation brand or name you want to see, and it'll come up with the search results, and that will be every instance where I have either put that product in a video or I was wearing it on my face in that video. So if you want to search for any of your favorites and see if I've already checked them out, you can do it that way. You can also go on my website, geekoutofwater.com, click on the Foundation Fest link. That'll take you to a ranked, searchable, sortable spreadsheet of all of the data of all of my foundation reviews. Give me a week or so to get all of these input into the spreadsheet and uploaded to the website, but they will eventually all be there. And that is a good resource as well. So there you have it. Foundation Fest. What? Day 4. We are wrapping it up. We got one more day left. Tune in tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and we will have Foundation Fest Day 5. Thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.